Saludos amigos del Templo del Rock. En esta oportunidad vamos a tener entonces una entrevista con una agrupación que estuvo el año pasado acá en Medellín. Estamos hablando de la agrupación de Mighty One. Aquí estamos entonces presentándonos. Estamos entonces Pacho Darkross. Estamos y mi persona, Carlos Mario Gudelo, acá en el Templo del Rock. Estamos en los 25 años. Y Pacho, vamos a aprovechar para recibir a este personaje de Mighty One, a Tim. Entonces, darle la bienvenida a Pacho para que hablemos un poquito de lo que ha pasado del año pasado hacia acá.
Claro, vamos con todo en estos 25 años de nuestro programa de televisión y vamos a recordar entonces que Tim estuvo con The Mighty One abriéndole a Bus el año pasado allí en este club,
Claro,
The Church, cerca de la
exactamente el
33.
9 de julio, Pacho, 9 de julio del año pasado. Y
Increíble,
que
más de...
compartimos, o sea, es bueno contar este tipo de bandas, las experiencias, porque son bandas que se entregan demasiado al público. Son bandas que llevan mercancía, llevan los CDs, llevan las gorras, llevan las camisetas, interactúan con el público, son muy amables y yo creo que eso es una de las características que le vamos a preguntar más adelante a Tim, que me parece que eso es un muy buen logro para las bandas que nos visitan. Listo, entonces vamos a recibir a Tim. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Carlos. Hello, Pacho. Nice to be with you both today. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll team, everything so far, 2026. Incredible,
Yeah.
no? A quarter of a century now.
Incredible, incredible. What a time to be alive, my friend. What a time to be alive.
Sí, es una muy buena época para estar vivos. So we're gonna first start trying to remember what happened that July 9th in Medellin and also the adventures you have in the Colombia tour next to Obús. Vamos entonces a hablarle a ver qué nos recuerda de esa fecha del 9 de julio donde estuvo abriéndole unos conciertos a Obús en Medellín, Bogotá y otras ciudades.
Yes, I mean, what a beautiful tour it was. It was an incredible tour. What can I say? To be able to share the stage every night for that tour with a legendary band like Obus was an absolute honor, and even more than that, just to be there with the Colombian people, taking a deep dive into Colombian culture, especially into Colombian live music culture, was probably one of the greatest experiences of my career.
Wow, sí, él nos dijo que fue una época muy honorable y está muy agradecido de haber pues tenido esta gira aquí en Medellín y de que todo este tour que se hizo con Obús nos dice que es increíble sobre todo haber experimentado la música en vivo con un público latino como el nuestro. Eso fue como lo que le dejó más recuerdos.
Okay, Tim, here is a video from the last year about the concert with Obus. It's only one remake. Tim, ¿recuerdas? Remember, Tim?
I do remember it well. I remember the beautiful crowd in Medellin. I mean, there was so many good moments that night. One of the things that really stuck out was having David Rivera from Tenebranum come up
All
on
right.
stage. Yeah, and to come and us play a song together, which was a song of his band Violin Rock, called Droga Perfecta, Perfect Drug. And I actually have some really good news about that right now.
Sí,
Increíble,
ahí nos
sí, uno de
decía
los mejores
Pacho el toque
momentos.
con David Rivera.
Ujú.
Yeah,
Sí,
well,
que me invitó a tocar la canción. Droga
yeah,
Perfecta, sí, claro.
Droga Perfecta. So just to let you know, and I think this is the first time that this has ever been announced, but the song Droga Perfecta from Violin Rock, I have
That,
done an
eh,
English version of it that we played at the show, but we have a recording that we're going to be releasing very soon.
Oh, very good
all
news,
right.
muy buenas
Tim,
noticias.
that song was recorded for us by Temple of Rock, and we'll send you later.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic. I look forward to
Okay.
hearing that. Thank you.
All
Claro,
right.
él también
Claro.
nos decía ahí que entonces creo que es la primera vez que va a compartir la noticia con alguien y es que grabaron esta versión de Droga Perfecta, pero en inglés y que van a tener un lanzamiento entonces de ella.
David Rivera, you might know him from the band Tenebrarum and Violin Rock. One of Medellin's beautiful sons. And Violin Rock has a song called Droga Perfecta. Perfect drug in English. Let's go! Let's go!
Qué bien. Pacho, deberíamos hablar un poquito también de lo que comentábamos detrás de cámaras, esa facultad que tienen ellos, la banda, de ser tan amigables con el público, de presentar, digamos, sus trabajos, su mercancía y hablar también de la revista.
Yeah, Tim, let's talk a little bit. We were talking before starting the interview about not only a great experience for you guys, but for us and the way you connect with the audience. I mean, you guys hung out with the people before the show, very good live performance, connected with everybody, and then hanging out with the people with the merch, selling the things you brought, the CDs and everything. It was like really a great camaraderie. What can you talk about that?
Well, I think that the personal connection is probably the most important part that any live event. Sure, the performance is great and everything like that, but to have that connection later and to make those memories and to take those pictures together and to sign those individual posters and whatever other personal things that people are purchasing, all of that I think has the most value, because this is not just about people coming to watch a band. This is about making a connection, creating an experience, creating a memories, and creating a community. I think that that's what the most important thing is, and that's why that part of the evening is always so important to me.
Sí, nos dice Tim entonces que lo central para ellos ahí fue la conexión personal, que sí está bien, claro, la banda tocando y todo y el show en vivo es muy importante, pero estar con la gente ahí firmando estos afiches o los posters o el material que la gente tuviera, los discos, CDs, entre otra parafernalia, eso es como lo más valioso de una experiencia como esta, ese tipo de conexión tan profunda.
Okay, Tim, we buy your magazine, The Torch of Rock and Roll. And what about from this magazine? What's next?
So the next edition of that comic book is coming out. It's written, And we are just doing the layout now. So it is becoming a comic book series. So episode 2 or edition 2 is coming up. And the story is, I mean, this first one was very much an autobiography, kind of my story and how I embodied the spirit of this alter ego that is the Mighty One. Moving forward into the next edition, the Mighty One starts to gather his emissaries of light around him, and they are there to protect humanity from the digitization of the human soul and the human heart. We know that AI is very much something that is, it's a very good tool, but in some ways it is stealing our creativity right now. So in the comic book, that is really addressed, and how important it is that we stay connected to our own heart and to our own soul, and we don't allow it to be digitized.
Oh, qué bien. Y hablábamos entonces de la revista, Carlos, la animación que él llevó.
Sí, correcto.
Y
Se
que
la
compramos
compramos allá, Pacho, cuando las trajeron.
Y nos dice pues que la primera se enfocaba mucho en su vida personal, como una autobiografía. Entonces hablaba mucho pues de lo que él ha vivido hasta ahora en el mundo de la música, pero que ya la segunda está escrita y trata acerca entonces de cómo él personificaba pues como este alter ego y que él tiene unos emisarios acerca de cómo la luz luchará contra la digitalización del arte, porque esto te puede robar el corazón y el alma. Entonces dice que la inteligencia artificial puede ser una herramienta útil, pero que se está robando la creatividad del ser humano. That's an incredible concept. Yeah, really good.
Claro. Aquí, para los televidentes, entonces, mostramos el tipo de revista, la calidad, el tipo de cómic y la buena biografía. Pacho, creo que hay algo importante y es acá cuando él descubrió a Kiss con el Destroyer. Qué bueno que nos contara esa historia porque pues esa historia es casi parecida a la mía.
Tim, there's a great connection with my friend Carlos, and he wants to expand in your opinion about the Kiss Destroyer, because Kiss and Alice Cooper were like the main influences of my friend Carlos Mario to dig into the rock and roll.
Oh, beautiful. I want to hear more. I want to hear more.
Antes él quiere escuchar más de lo tuyo, Carlos.
Ah, no, simplemente dile que a finales de los 70, sí, me fue llegando lo que fue Led Zeppelin, Queen, Alice Cooper, Kiss, lógicamente, y Black Sabbath. Esas bandas me catapultaron y desde eso cautivado totalmente con el hard rock, o sea, hard rock de la vieja guardia es excelente.
Eso fue con los LPs que iban trayendo de afuera, ¿cierto?
Claro, claro. Y unos que salían colombianos, lógico.
Sí, he says that, he was like really enticed and drawn to the music of Led Zeppelin, Queen, Alice Cooper, and Kiss in the beginning and the end of the 70s, where people from other countries brought these vinyls from abroad. And then the Colombian pressing started coming out too.
Beautiful.
Like almost.
Okay. Do
that's
you
really mind-blowing.
understand?
So at the same time, you being in Canada or the other people, and we here in Colombia absorbing the same music.
Yes, it was an incredible time.
So what about you? Why did you decide to include Kiss?
Well, because Kiss was my influence. When I discovered Kiss when I was 13 years old, and that was one of my very first albums. When I discovered that, I knew exactly what I wanted to do in my life. I got my first electric guitar. I was, if you see the story in the comic book, that I took my guitar and my amplifier and I ran it out to the grain silo on the farm that I was living on, and I hit that very first chord with the amp cranked to 10, and that sound and that frequency expanded my mind and expanded my heart. But what it did more than that is it connected me to my purpose that I always have followed since that moment. And that is the purpose of making music, making rock and roll, and embodying that spirit that Kiss brought into my life, and
Wow.
I just, even at that point, I was already visualizing what it would be like to meet Paul Stanley, what it would be like to work with him, and 8 years later, 9 years later, he was my manager, and I had a record deal with him.
All right. Excelente, Pacho.
Sí, es muy increíble. Él nos dice que a los 13 años lo cautivó, obviamente, esta música, que él entonces obtuvo su primera guitarra y él vivía en una granja. Entonces fue allá y conectó el amplificador, la guitarra, y el primer acorde que hizo le explotó la cabeza. Entonces ya sabía que esta música era lo suyo y por ahí va a ir. Y que muchos años más tarde luego conocería a Gene Simmons, incluso siendo pues manager de su proyecto.
Creo que sí,
So this
fue
is the
principios de
story,
los
no, Tim,
90,
of
algo
the
así.
Torch of Rock and Roll. Yeah,
Yes.
in the early 90s. The Torch of
Yeah.
Rock and Roll was like the album that was published 2021, no? And the life cycle of this album was like the last 4 or 5 years, no? Like touring and getting videos out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it was, in a lot of ways, it's been a signature of my career. This album, the Torch of Rock and Roll, and every song, has a purpose in telling the story. Yes, there it is. There it is. Every song has a purpose. Thank you for showing that. It was beautiful. Yeah. Rock and
Claro,
roll
cada canción,
forever.
cada
Rock
canción
and roll
tiene un
forever.
propósito. Sí, cada canción de este disco tiene un propósito y así fue concebido y ha sido pues como el logro más grande de su carrera hasta ahora. So how big and how was the expansion of the Mighty One with this album in the last 5 years?
I think it really defined the band. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the first two albums were important. That first album that I recorded with Devin Townsend in 2007. It had in a lot of ways it made me realize the work that I do today, because I was going through a marriage that had fallen apart, and in many ways that song helped me through that struggle of pain, the pain of letting go of such a big relationship. And so a lot of the songs on that record were the way that I was working through those issues. But at the end of that album, with a song, for instance, like Reprieved, just realizing that this is not the end, that this is really just the beginning, and that even though I have been through the fire and the alchemy of pain and heartbreak, which has happened very many times in my life, like when my record deal fell apart, and all of these things, right? That there is always hope at the end. And so that first album was very much a cathartic release of pain and heartbreak.
Sí, nos estaba hablando entonces le preguntamos de la experiencia de su último disco y su concentración en él en los últimos 5 años, pero él nos dice que la influenció también mucho sus 2 primeros álbumes, especialmente en el 2007, donde haría una grabación con David Townsend, y allí habían muchas expectativas, pero pasó por un rompimiento de su matrimonio, que fue bastante complejo, y nos habla entonces también igual que la alquimia del dolor, de tener etapas así donde parecen con mucha desesperanza, pero siempre hay que seguir adelante y siempre hay una luz al final del camino. So that was 2007, and then you got the second album.
Yeah, the second album, Shift, at this point, when I started writing that, which is, I think, 2009, I had just released a sort of an acoustic album that was more of a very much a spiritual album, and I was in a very spiritual place. I was traveling to the Mayan Riviera area quite a bit, and I was actually going to the ruins, the Mayan ruins, and I was going there and doing a lot of meditation and doing a lot of study on Mayan philosophy and the Mayan religion, and of course the upcoming whole 2012 thing that was coming up. I was just so deep inside of all of that, but I was inside of it in a very spiritual way. And so that influence is there in the second album, Shift, because there was a shift I felt taking place in humanity, but there was more than that. There was a shift in my own consciousness, and so that really was captured in that second album.
Claro, él nos habla entonces de su segundo disco, Shift, palabra que quiere decir como cambio, giro, y que entonces era más enfocado como en la parte acústica, y nos dice entonces que no solo fue un cambio como en la humanidad en ese momento, sino también en su conciencia. Entonces eso también les llevó a tener otras experiencias. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Rivera.
All right. So then we go all the way to this album, the Torch of Rock and Roll, which you're doing this tour, and using, like a different record company and expanding your band to Latin America.
Yes, I mean, one of the things with this album, it was written. We started writing it in early 2020, when your friend and my friend Gustavo Valderrama, he was the bass player in the band at the time, and in many ways he was somebody who helped restart what was a bit of a stalled career, because I'd gone through some things with management. My manager was murdered. A manager from Sweden. Well, he wasn't quite my manager yet, but we were about to start on something together, and he was murdered. And when that happened, I just kind of shut down, and I just went, I think I am lost. And Gustavo and I were working together here in Vancouver, helping to produce some of the big concerts at our arena here in Vancouver. And that's when we got together. And the one evening we came back to my place. My family was not home. We were home at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we had some nice beer. And Gustavo said to me, "Let me make you some Colombian beef soup. And I want to talk about your career." And my studio where I'm at right now had actually, the lights had been off for almost 2 years. After that manager died, I decided to step away from music for a little bit. I needed to rebalance myself again. And that evening, or that morning, at about 5 in the morning, Gustavo and I came downstairs. We turned on all the equipment and we started recording with the intention of creating a Spanish version of what was the biggest single so far from that first Mighty One album, called Reprieved. Now the Spanish version was released under the name Absuelto. And between Gustavo and Kike Valderrama, not a relation, but you know who Kike is. Between the two of them, there was an opportunity. Yeah, there was an opportunity to create Spanish version, and then that was released in on Radionica. It was amazing to connect at that point.
The radio
with,
station, yeah.
Yeah, the radio station, to connect with Hector Mora and Andreas Duran. And, the song did really, really well. It was in the top 100 rock and metal songs for Radionica in 2017. And that started to really open some doors to come to Colombia.
Wow, that's like a long story to tell, but yes, estábamos contando entonces del disco anterior, Church of Rock and Roll. Sí, lo empezó a escribir en el 2020, pero venía de un apagón donde él hace 2 años estuvo quieto porque iba a trabajar con una persona, un manager en Suecia, pero desafortunadamente fue asesinado. Entonces él, cuando le llegó esa noticia, como que lo apagó y lo desconectó y dijo, no, voy a dejar un poquito la música un tiempo. Obviamente una noticia muy, muy complicada. Entonces estuvo casi que 2 años de bajo tono pues con la música. Pero luego allá en Vancouver, con nuestro amigo Gustavo Valderrama, que él es colombiano que vive en Canadá, estuvieron produciendo algunos shows y conciertos en la arena de Toronto, donde han trabajado. Y una vez llegaron de tomar unas buenas cervezas y fueron al sótano. No, la familia no estaba, y prendieron el estudio y ahí fue como una conexión grande de volver a retomar la música. Entonces, de hecho, una canción que él dice que es Reprieved, que la tradujeron en español como absoluto, o de absolución, como absuelto, estuvo en el Top Radiónica incluso, en las canciones, de mejores 100 canciones del 2017, en el programa que tienen allí, El Expreso del Rock de Andrés Durán y Héctor Mora. Entonces eso empezó a abrirles como más las puertas al sonido y a Colombia, y entonces es una larga historia, Carlos. So it's been a long story, really like actually meaningful and somehow rewarding. That's why, now getting to know this story about you, the comic and everything gets like another shed of light into your lifestyle. And now that we're gonna talk about the new single, Shatter, it also gets like different shades, no?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, well, Shattered, is my observation of the way that reality is being reshaped because of the shattering of truth that we thought was the truth, was never the truth.
Sí.
We have been living in many lies for a long time. Those that control humanity, control the government, control the systems, control religion. All of these things have been not the truth. They have been lies. And as these things start to reveal themselves, I just realized that our reality is being shattered. And that's the basis of that song. But what is so beautiful about that? I mean, I could just dwell on the negative of that. But what is so beautiful about it is that as these things burn to the ground, as what we thought was the truth is burnt to the ground, in that alchemical fire, we are empowered ourselves to really become the human gods that we were always meant to be. And I mean, the reason that the band is called The Mighty One is, yes, I started by myself, but as the progression of the band has gone along, the realization that we come from this power that is within and that is everywhere all at the same time. Now, I believe in this environment that we are in right now, even though it is challenging, there is an opportunity to really embrace our inner power.
Wow, sí, claro.
Sí, Pacho, ahí hay una connotación en una sola canción de muchos temas que en este momento abordan el aspecto mundial.
Sí, shatter es una palabra que es como un sinónimo de destruir. Entonces habla de destruido. Él nos comentaba que a través de lo que ha pasado a nivel político y social en los últimos años, la verdad que creíamos que era, pues que algo era certero, no lo es, que cada vez descubrimos más y más cosas ocultas en el modo de vida del mundo. Entonces, que en cierta forma esto ha influenciado también el concepto de esta canción, Shatter, que es como destruido, es como una especie de posverdad, ¿no? Pero que incluso a pesar de toda esta negatividad, siempre hay como una forma de redescubrirse. Y él nos dice que el nombre de la banda, como es The Mighty One, como el poderoso, comenzó siendo acerca de él, el concepto del grupo, pero cada vez más se expande y ve que muchas personas tienen situaciones similares. Entonces dice que el Mighty One podemos ser todos, pero cada uno como mirando en nuestro interior.
Bueno, Pacho, podríamos preguntarle entonces qué se viene para The Mighty One en este año o qué países piensan visitar y como lo ha dicho en esta entrevista, pues me imagino que Latinoamérica será un punto de regreso.
So yes, Tim, just to finish here your time with us, we're checking social media. Now Instagram is growing, more than 4,000 people are following you. The YouTube channel, now you have more than 300 videos, which is great. And you got the physical format in CDs that we bought last time. So we have expectations of what is this 2026 for you, and if you're coming to Colombia again or expanding the tour.
Yes. So there's a couple of things in the works right now. So we plan that when we come in the fall, and we have a couple of festivals, very important festivals that we are talking to right now. I should have confirmation of those festival dates shortly, and also potentially a tour with a very famous classic rock band
Nice.
from Europe. So if that comes together, that is going to be a full South American tour, multiple countries: Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Peru. I can't say anything about them yet because we are still in negotiations.
Okay.
But our plan is to be there in the fall, and we will have a new EP. Okay, and as you might know, when I was there last year, I went and I spoke at the University of Quindío
Okay,
in
la Universidad de
Armenia.
Quindío.
Because I'm doing a lot of work in the mental wellness space. Mental wellness and suicide prevention is something I'm very passionate about. So
Okay.
I am preparing some talks to do in between the tour dates.
That's great to know, man. Nos dice entonces, le preguntamos que cuáles eran los planes para Team en este 2026. Entonces se viene un EP pronto. Van a expandir la gira. Hay buenas noticias, están trabajando en un par de festivales que todavía pues no puede confirmar porque están en negociaciones, pero que muy pronto lo sabremos, con una banda de Europa incluso, también podrían estar, y todo esto se viene para the fall, o sea, para el otoño, es decir,
El otoño.
probablemente octubre, noviembre y todas estas épocas, y que él estuvo trabajando con la Universidad del Quindío en el concepto de salud mental, es un tema que lo apasiona mucho, entonces también lo tendrá allí. So that's so great to know, Tim, because, you know, I work with the National School of Scream, some friends that have some mental health things. I think we can talk about this later on this week or soon. And El Templo del Rock, my friend Carlos and I, we're open to help you with anything you want, man. It's great because getting to know you from Canada and you being so authentic and honest is really inspiring.
Oh, that's fantastic! I look forward to having that conversation with you, and I'm so glad to hear that you are doing that work. You know, I feel like I have some very good solutions for the challenges that are there. I do a lot of work with youth, but I work with everybody. But I'm a regular speaker at the University of Quindío. And I'm really looking to expand that work just as much as I'm looking to expand the work of the Mighty One.
Sí, Carlos, nos hablábamos entonces que aquí también en Medellín tenemos, por ejemplo, la Escuela Nacional del Grito y hay otros programas de salud mental bien importantes en la ciudad, que es un tema con el que él trabaja también, además, con la Universidad de Quindío, y que también es algo que puede enlazar aparte de, no solo de la música, sino de este concepto, Carlos, ¿no? Entonces, vemos como muy importante, Carlos, hablar de las letras y de mezclar la música que nos encanta con conceptos también humanistas y de salud mental. ¿Sí o no, Carlos?
Sí, perfecto. Entonces, ya esperemos que dentro de sus regresos o venidas por acá por Latinoamérica o algo y ese compromiso que tiene con estas instituciones, pues esté cerca por acá a nosotros, en Medellín. No escuché mencionar a Medellín.
Sí, no, claro. That if you're coming to Colombia, you have to come to Medellin too, of course, no? Not only Bogota or Quindío, like come back to Medellin.
I would definitely will make sure that we come back to Medellin. I have to say it is truly one of the most beautiful cities I've ever experienced in Colombia, and I look forward to seeing you again. And of course, we have to bring David Rivera on stage with us again, because at that point, that single will be released. And yeah, I really look forward to seeing you both again. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Ok, sí, nos dice Tim que por supuesto es una de las ciudades más lindas que he
Oh, sí.
visitado. Entonces estará por acá y obviamente trayendo a David Rivera y que reconectemos entonces en nuestra ciudad.
Perfecto, Pacho. Entonces, yo creo que hemos hecho como un recorrido por pues todo lo que es The Mighty One y también pues por lo que se viene con sus próximos trabajos y sus próximos proyectos. Así que despidamos a Tim. Estaremos con él pendiente de las actividades cercanas a nuestras regiones y muy también pendiente de la revista y muchas cosas que tiene actividades Tim bien importantes, no solo musicales, sino también que tienen que ver con la cultura y la salud.
Yeah. So thank you for your time again, team. We will be connected. We're looking forward to meeting you, of course, in the second semester and talk to you soon about the other topics, music-wise and work-wise. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Carlos and Pacho. I really appreciate it. And
All right.
I can't wait to return and see again my.
You got it, Tim? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I look forward to seeing you again, my parceros. Parceros.
Parceros, okay, Tim. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your interview. Thanks for your project, for your music, and the great humanity that you have. The Temple of Rock is here for you.
Muchos gracias. Muchos gracias, Templo del Rock.
Ok. Bueno, así entonces dejamos entonces esta entrevista en verdad de una de las bandas canadiense y que estará acá nuevamente. Ahí vamos a tener entonces también lo que hemos visto con videos, detallitos de lo que fue su presentación el año pasado. Y esta fue una nota bien especial entonces, Pacho, del Templo del Rock para toda la audiencia en nuestros 25 años.